There are two things that I hate: wasting money and filling my space with things that don't actually improve my life. Lately, I've been eliminating these small, quiet purchases that were costing me thousands of dollars over time without even realizing it. There was a time when I wanted was reason enough to buy something, but as I become more intentional with my money, I've realized that a lot of those purchases don't reflect the person that I am anymore. So, here are 6 things that I stopped buying because of that. And honestly, I don't miss any of them. Fast fashion. When I say fast fashion, I mean things that we buy that are kind of like cheaply made and that serve maybe just like one purpose. Maybe you buy them for one trip or one vacation that you're going on, and you know that you'll never actually wear them again. And it's just not a very functional way to buy things that you're only gonna use or wear one time. And plus, it's just a waste of money after that event. Plus, a lot of these fast fashion websites and a lot of these fast fashion stores have materials and clothes that are just not very well made. And I'm not really one for expensive clothes, but I'm also not one for quicker, cheaper ones either. Again, it's so easy to just buy things that you're only going to use once because it looks nice, but I just can't do that anymore. So now I have to ask myself a single question before I buy any piece of clothing. Am I actually going to wear this item more than once? And I have to be honest with myself because, again, is this just a singular one trip outfit, or can I get multiple wears out of it? And it's actually saved me a lot of money, closet space, and space in my suitcases. Things just to look impressive. And in regards to the first point, let's move on to kind of the opposite end of that spectrum and talk about buying more expensive things or things just to impress others. Growing up, I thought that, nicer things and nicer clothes and more expensive possessions just kind of implied that you're maybe a more successful and maybe even a better person. But obviously, this is something that I've learned or unlearned, and it's just not true the older that I get. The way that you carry yourself just means so much more than the things that you own or the brands that you wear. And it took me a little while to realize this because after starting my career, I just buy things to look important. Like fancy pairs of shoes, maybe like a fancy jacket or an expensive bracelet or piece of jewelry I knew I was only going to wear like once. And this was before I realized that the most important thing I was wearing wasn't something that I could buy. It was me. It was my outer confidence and the way I carried myself. My aura, like the kids say. Ugh, that was so bad. I became a more confident person, and that said more about who I am than anything I've ever bought or worn. And that confidence makes a much stronger first impression than any logo or possession ever will. Food delivery services. Now, this one really hits home because there was a period of time where I definitely used food delivery services a lot, like several times a week. I was an Uber Eats and DoorDash guy because there are just certain times where you really just don't feel like cooking or going out to get food. But as you know, a $15 meal will end up being about $35, and a lot of the time it's just not good and just not worth it. One day I decided to total up every dollar I had spent on DoorDash over the past year, and I really wish I did not do that because that number shocked me so bad that I knew I needed to make a change immediately. Because why am I spending a couple of $100s a month on singular meals? Not groceries that will give me multiple meals within multiple times a day, but 3 to 4 meals that cost a couple of $100s a month. That's crazy. And plus, by dedicating myself to less food delivery services, it's made me more intentional with actually cooking and preparing my meals on a consistent basis. Because obviously, the best way to be in control of your nutrition is to cook what you eat. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't ever use these services because, maybe once or twice a month, I'll still DoorDash something. But it's definitely a lot less compared to what it used to be. My stomach and my wallet definitely feel it. Streaming subscriptions. I feel like this one's a really common one because we all slip up sometimes and we all kind of get to that time once a month where we get that random PayPal notification and we get charged like $15 for a streaming service that we haven't watched in over a month. Now, I like a good binge every now and then. I like my HBO Max because I gotta watch my Euphoria and I gotta watch my House of the Dragon. Go Team Black. But I can only binge watch one thing at a time. So for me personally, there's really no need to have Hulu and Netflix and Paramount and HBO and Apple TV all at once because I'm not using all of them. So streaming services, yes, because I want to be more cognizant and aware of the subscriptions that I have and whether or not I'm actually using them. But it's just so simple to just cycle through my subscriptions depending on the show that I want to watch at the time. There's less pressure to feel like I need to watch everything. And obviously, that's more money in my pocket because I'm not wasting upwards of $45, $50 every month on streaming services that I'm not even using. Again, me personally, I can only watch one thing at a time. Attention span kind of short. So why would I pay for 5 streaming services at the same time? The newest electronics. This was definitely a problem for me for a while because I used to always think that I needed like the newest gadget solely because it was new and shiny. And in retrospect, there's really just no reason for this other than like FOMO, or just the feeling of needing newer, fancier things to impress others, like I talked about in the second point. My DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is honestly the perfect example of this, because the 4 just recently got released, and from what I saw, the specs are a little bit better, and it can do, more things. And the old me would have absolutely dropped my old camera, my old Pocket 3, and gotten the 4 as soon as it came out. But honestly, my Pocket 3 does more than enough, and it's literally the perfect on-the-go vlogging camera for me when I'm out and about and when I'm traveling and just want to record some B-roll. And sometimes I still record my videos on it. So it's still a perfectly good, perfectly serviceable camera that can help out a lot of people. So why would I feel the need to upgrade immediately? I realized that I wasn't upgrading because these newer electronics were something that I needed. I was upgrading just because something newer existed. Things just because they're on sale. I am a sucker for a good sale. Like a big red sign or a yellow sign that says like 60% off or buy 2 get 1 free. I love it. But if I purchase that item, then am I really saving money, or am I just still spending money regardless? Because it really doesn't matter if it's a quote unquote good deal, because a good deal for something that you don't really need or don't really want is still a bad deal. Like I don't need 2-for-1 kitchen pots or 35% off a fancy case for my iPad when the one I have works just fine. And stores and websites love making you feel like you're saving money, but buying something you don't need is still spending and wasting money. Looking back, these things that I was spending so much money on, they were decisions I wasn't being very intentional with. The biggest thing that I've learned is that intentional spending isn't really about just depriving yourself of things. It's about making sure your money reflects what actually matters to you. Every one of these changes gave me a little bit more money and a little less clutter and a lot more peace of mind. But just know I'm nowhere near perfect, and I'm still working on this every single day. Now, you guys let me know down below in the comments. Are there things that you've learned really aren't worth the money like you previously thought they were? Or things that you just don't buy anymore that you used to? Let me know if you can relate. And if you want to hear even more about how I'm doing my best to not waste money and only keep things that I intentionally use, feel free to check out this video next that I made about learning exactly what minimalism really is. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.